Hello, reader. I'm Alix.
I'm Kelly.
And this is the LitJoy Podcast. Hello, reader. Welcome to the LitJoy Podcast Fun Friday. This is Alix.
This is Kelly.
We're going to share a quick list of reading recommendations this Fun Friday with you, reader.
Yes, and this week's theme, we're going to do romance reads, specifically reads that are perfect for those who are just dipping their toes into this genre of romance.
Yes. Okay, so to kick us off, the first thing to add, or the first book to add to your reading list is Icebreakers. This is by Hannah Grace. This book was darling. It's kind of an enemies to lovers, but also there's a golden retriever guy in there. He's a sweetheart. Anastasia and Nate.
Yes.
It's one of our ice hockey romances. So he's a hockey player, she's an ice skater, and I feel like it is just such a great entry-level book in the romance genre to add to your list, and it is a 3 spice.
Yes, we're talking their spice meter out of 5. 5 being, if you pulled out the spice, there would be nothing left
in the book.
Of the book.
Yes.
So this one does have a pretty good amount of spice, perfect amount for me, I would say.
Yeah.
And it also has the forced proximity trope, which is always one of my favorites.
Always a favorite.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next up on our list is The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hoang. And I thought this book was absolutely darling. This is a little bit different from other romance reads in that it actually portrays a woman who is on the spectrum with autism. And she is trying to figure out how to have a relationship. So she doesn't know any other way to do it other than a scientific way. So she hires a male escort to teach her how to be in a relationship and have a physical relationship. But
it's really darling.
It was beautifully written, darling. I love there's a Vietnamese culture in it as well. And I would say the spice on this one, I'm going to put it about 2.5 because it's descriptive, but in a way that feels like a little
scientific.
Very scientific, but it's darling. Darling. I love this one.
Next up on the list, The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. This is one of my favorite romance reads. It's a contemporary romance, and it is forced proximity. Lucy and Joshua work together, and they are both up for the same promotion. So another kind of enemies to lovers vibe. It was made into a film, which I thought was also darling. I loved both the film and the book, and I would say I like the book a little bit more. And I just feel like the chemistry between the characters in both the book and the movie was off the charts. That's a 2.5 spice as well. And I would highly recommend. It's one of the romance reads that I always recommend to everyone when they're getting into the genre.
It's a classic one. Okay, so the next up on our list is actually the book that got me into the genre. And so I recommend this one a lot for people who are a little nervous about how spicy a book is. It's called Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. And this book came out in 2023, so it's really recent. It is part of a series called When in Rome. And it is a small town romance. It kind of starts out feeling a little bit of a Hallmark movie. But don't worry, the love interest, Will, is a bodyguard. And he's just trying to relax before he goes back to work. But of course, he runs into Annie, and that's where the story takes off. And so it does have this dual point of view. You get both of their point of views during it, which I love. And the spice in this one's maybe a 2 on the meter. But again, it was like the perfect intro for me on checking out this genre. So, and it was beautifully written again. Really sweet.
Okay, so up next is kind of a classic when it comes to contemporary romance. It's The Red, White, and Royal Blue by Katee McQuiston. McQuiston? I
like it.
Yeah, cool. Close enough. So Red, White, and Royal Blue does have gay romance in it. It is darling. Obviously, there is royalty involved, which I always love. There's like a whole subgenre of romance with royalty in it. And that one is a 1.5 spice. So great intro book into the romance genre as well. And also love that it has diversity in the book. And I'm just like a little bit trash for royalty royalty gossip. So I'm like, it's perfect.
It's enemies to lovers, right? On that, that's one of the tropes. I found that that's a common one in a lot of the books that we've read. So I'm like, got it. We must have the thing. That's a trope we like.
That might be one that just works for us. But also, if you folks love these Fun Fridays, or all you readers love these Fun Fridays, we will make sure to do more of the romance reads and do other genres as well on Fridays.
Yeah.
So
This is, like I said, more of a broad list for those just getting in. And these are some of the most popular romance books out there right now.
Yep.
And so we've tried to read as many as we can to kind of bring the list down, compile, thank you.
Yeah.
To let you guys know, like, they are popular for a reason.
Yep. Next up, I personally put on the list because it's my favorite romance reads. These are the ones that got me into romance. Yeah. It was Boy Billionaires by Max Monroe. I love them. I love Klein and Georgia in the first book. And then there's Thatcher and Cassie in book 2, which is like it heats up a little bit, but totally different. And then Wes and Winnie are a little bit more serious in their characters. So there's 3 books in the series, the Boy Billionaires by Max Monroe. And those are probably my favorite contemporary romance novels. But The Hating Game is close up there.
And these ones are a little bit older.
They are, yeah.
From 2016. And what's cool about the Boy Billionaire series is that it's 2 authors that are
co-writers.
And they have a pen name. So as far as I know, I don't know. Do we know who they are now?
Yeah. So they at a romance con, they came out and kind of said who they were. But yeah, it's 2 female authors that co-write them together.
So it was a secret for a while, but
it was.
The secret's out.
It was very secretive. I will let you talk about Neon Gods. And let's jump to that one, and then we'll go to my last one.
All right, guys. We're going to talk about Neon Gods, which we're going to up the spice meter a bit. Yes. So if you were like, I don't normally read romance, but like I'm not afraid of it, all right? Neon Gods would be a good recommendation. This is by Katee Roberts. Now, she has a lot of books out there right now, but this is probably her most popular series. And there are... is there like 6 or 7 in the series total?
Yes,
like,
and
she's got more
coming out.
Yeah. So the ones that I've read, the first 3 probably most popular. We're talking. It's called Neon Gods, which is Hades and Persephone as a retelling. So all of these under the Dark Olympus series are retelling of mythological gods and goddesses, and puts them in a contemporary setting. Yes. So I love mythology, so I was very drawn to this. And then we have Psyche and Eros and Achilles. These have been coming out since 2021. She writes 1 to 2 a year. And so she has more coming out in 2024. Cruel Seduction, Midnight Ruin, Dark Restraint. Those are all coming. Cruel Seduction's already out. And we have Fake Dating, Forbidden Romance. There's Opposites Attract, Forced Proximity, Enemies to Lovers. There's multiple partners.
Put them all in there. So it's clearly
it's all in there.
It's mythology, so it's mythology retellings and romance. And the spice, how spicy are they?
These are probably at least a 4. Yeah, these are a 4.
They are spicy. So there is some there are some kinks in there. So I would read up before you dive into them to make sure that it works for you. But yeah, all around, very entertaining reads. And then our last Fun Friday recommendation is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. It is a 2 on the spice meter. This one is really darling because it's that grumpy sunshine trope. And it also, the male lead, Adam is a professor and Olive is a PhD candidate, I believe. They are both scientists, and it's a retelling of Reylo, so Kylo Ren and Rey from Star Wars. So if that's kind of your vibe, this is the perfect read. And I think that's it for today. So that's our Fun Friday reading recommendations. Thank you for tuning in, reader, and we'll catch you next Friday. All right, reader, thank you for listening to the LitJoy Podcast. Make sure to rate and review us.
And like a good book, don't forget to recommend us to your friends.